Hello and welcome back to the Lincoln Loco 2. Season 15 is about to get underway and I'm really excited for this season. I think we've brought in some top quality players. It's the first season where a majority of our targets actually decide to come to the club. They've joined us. I'm very excited about that. I think we've got a really good team this season. Like, a really good team. We've also got Leeds United coming up in the first game of the season. So that's going to be the first test of the season, the first game of the season. It's a real test, this one against Leeds United. They're a decent side. So we're going to see how well we do. Before we get into the game, though, we have to go through the transfers. And before we go into the transfers, we have to look at a few outs. And there's no easy way to put it here. We've lost some important people. First of all, at the very end of last season, Lee Masters came to me. And he said, I want a new challenge. And I said, no, you're staying at the club. Because Lee Masters is the only player who, in our entirety of time in the Football League, has been a homegrown player by the club, apparently. So we've always kept him at the club so we can have an extra player on the bench, a seventh player on the bench. However, he came to me and he said to me, I want to have a new challenge. I said no. And he says, well, I'm leaving, basically. Because he had no contract. He was on non-contract terms. So Lee Masters is gone. And he's not found another club yet, which is actually quite upsetting. So I actually want to sign him back again. Approached to sign. He's not interested, unfortunately. But he spent 12 years at the club, making, nearly 150 appearances, scoring 15 or so goals in the process as well. 6 of those are actually for Greasley. But a loyal servant to the club. You know, he never ever complained, apart from right at the end of last season, and that sort of tipped him over the edge, and he left. Wasn't going to make the Premier League, apparently. Would have loved to have him in the Premier League, but Lee Masters has gone. But this isn't the worst one. This is not the worst one. This one actually breaks my heart. Mark Mason has left the club. Now, the issue surrounding Mark Mason was, obviously, he wasn't getting game time, but we always kept him at the club for sentimental reasons. His contract was up for renewal, but he just didn't want one. He just said, no, I'm not signing a new contract. I want a new challenge. Didn't even come to terms with me. Didn't ask for anything. He just rejected anything straight away, and he has left the club after having a phenomenal time, making 269 league appearances, scoring 112 league goals with 26 league assists and 25 player of the matches in the league. Obviously, this doesn't cover the cup games, these ones. If we go into like this season, in his first season for us, he's got 39 goals in total in all competitions, including the cup competition. So he's made over 300 appearances for the club, I'd imagine, in all cup competitions. If you add in cup goals, he's probably close to 150 goals as well. So what a player he is. He'll be missed very sorely, despite not making an appearance at all last season. I know technically that's this season, actually. Last season he made 6 appearances. Hasn't scored a goal in the past 2 seasons, which is quite poor. But when he started off for us, he was terrific. Apparently he's waiting on a work permit to move to Sydney FC, which is quite the career change, but good luck to him. Anyway, they're sort of the released players, those 2 guys. We did sell 1 player, and I wasn't too pleased about it, but they met his minimum fee release clause, and Stan Porter has gone to Cardiff for £3.7 million, but that was just because Stan Porter's minimum fee release clause was £3.7 million, so he's gone. If they'd offered me £3.7 million outright for him, I would have said yes anyway to that, because that's an awful lot of money for a player that we can then reinvest into the club. So I was happy, to be fair, happy to let him go for that kind of money. He was the best player in the midfield last season, so I'm sad to let him go in that regard. But I do think we've managed to sign some better players than him this season, so it's not too bad. A few young players also going out on loan. All these players are young players, all gone out on loan, so don't expect to see them this season at all. Not that we've really seen them before, actually, at all, really, because they've not really played many games. But there we go. There's players out on loan. Now, let's focus on the ins. We've made 6 loan signings, which is 1 more than really we probably should do. 4 players have signed permanently, but you can only see 8 players here. So who are the other 2 players? Well, first up, Lee Phillip has signed up for another season at the club, thankfully. After scoring, how many goals did he get? 26 in the league, 28 overall last season. He's come back for another season on loan, which is really good. He's currently pulled a back muscle, so he's out at the moment for the next 2 weeks or so. So we won't see him in today's episode. But I'm so glad Lee Phillip is back this season. And he's also joined by, of course, Jason Rendell. He's back at the club again. This time, obviously, on the left-hand side. Not this time. He's always been on the left-hand side of the pitch. But he's back again, Jason Rendell, after having a superb season last year with 13 goals, 11 assists. It was 14 in both in all competitions. So that was really good. You can see down here, 14 goals, 14 assists. Superb player. Glad to have them both back at the club. So those first 2 signings were massive. I'm so pleased that we got those 2 signings over the line because they were instrumental last season, and they're only going to be complemented by Michael Pomeroy, who comes in from Chelsea. We spoke about him in last episode, the very last one of last season. We wanted him on loan. He's come on loan for us from Chelsea. Another striker, so I think we might try and pursue a two-striker system once Lee Phillip is back from injury. Of course, we can't do that right now because he's injured. So we're going to stick Pomeroy up front today for us. But he's a complete forward or advanced forward. Played really well last season, scoring 15 goals in the league for Hull in a very difficult Hull side. He finished at the bottom of the table, so did very well last season for Hull. I think he'll do immense for us this season. I'm really excited by Pomeroy. Going to be a Premier League player in the future. Is good enough for a Premier League side now, actually, which is even better. So we've got a real top quality striker on our hands in Pomeroy. Following up from him, we signed Richard Latham on a free transfer, sort of a backup defender this season, 3-star current ability, 30 years old as well, on a cheap contract after he played for Swansea the past few seasons, playing a few games in the Premier League as well, so got a bit of Premier League experience. I think he's a decent player. He should be okay. He's good enough for backup, I think. So welcome Richard Latham to the squad. Next up, £82,000 spent on Nick Fairweather from Barnsley. He's a goalkeeper now. I had a few players in mind for goalkeeper, and none of them wanted to come. He was like our third choice goalkeeper, and he sort of comes in as a like-for-like player from McClement. McClement has slowly got worse over the past few seasons. I've not been impressed. Last season, I wasn't massively impressed with him. He's had 2 seasons where he's been absolutely phenomenal, McClement, but this past season or last season, he wasn't brilliant. So I thought we'd bring in someone else just to try and challenge him a little bit, try and push them both on. So we will probably start with McClement this season, but if he doesn't start to play well, Fairweather is waiting in the wings for his chance. Next up was Jamie Brown from Aston Villa, a central midfielder, 4-star current ability, 4-star potential, plays as a playmaker, is a very good player, was at Leeds last season, so obviously he knows the division very well, played very well for Leeds as well, and Charlton the season before that, has got Premier League games for Villa as well. He's a very good player, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Jamie Brown does this season. He is going to be partnered up with Jeff Reeves in the middle, who's also not a midfielder, so it's the wrong person that I've just clicked on there. He's paired it with Jack Frith. Jack Frith is the other midfielder coming in, 3.5-star current ability and 5-star potential. He's a more central midfielder, so that's fine. We can play him as box-to-box as well if we need to. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Frith plays as well. Perhaps not quite as good as a previous player, but had played very well last season for Charlton in a side that I think just missed out on the playoffs. So I'm looking forward to that one. Back to Jeff Reeves then as we move further back the pitch. Jeff Reeves is a centre-back coming in. He should be probably our first choice centre-back alongside Theo Taverny this season. I'm looking forward to seeing how he plays with his 3.5-star current ability and 4-star potential. On loan from Everton for the season, has played in the Championship before, most recently with Coventry in League One, but I think he was probably a bit wasted in League One, and I think he'll make the step up to the Championship very easily. Joseph Sorinola was the next player we brought in from Aston Villa for £650,000. He's another centre-back, another 3-star current ability one, but got 4-star potential, so he's probably going to be our third choice centre-back this season after playing well for Burton on loan last season in League One. Has played at Sheffield United in the Championship as well. So he's got a wealth of experience at different levels. And again, a good player that I think is going to come in to provide some solid cover at the back, I reckon. And finally, for £245,000, Sam Durant has come in from Norwich, a centre midfielder, more of a backup centre midfielder. He's a bit old now, 31 years old, but has got a wealth of experience in the Championship. Played in League One a little bit, but really has played his past few seasons in the Championship, playing very well. I think he's going to be a decent player for us. Again, we just need a bit more quality in our depth, and we probably need to add 1 or 2 more players in midfield, in the centre midfield. We do have players there, but no real quality in the depth, so we need to add a bit of quality in our depth. But at the moment, there aren't plans for any more signings coming into the club. We're already over our loan quota. We've got 6 players in on loan, but you can only have 5 in the matchday squad, so that's going to be interesting deciding who plays where. Oh no, there is another player potentially coming in, Kyle Toad Fenny. He might be coming in centre midfield. We're currently negotiating contracts with him, but if he does come in, also he'd add a lot of quality in our midfield, in our depth of midfield as well. So hopefully we'll see this guy come in the next few games or so. But other than that, I don't really think there's going to be any more transfers. So let's jump in for today's game against Leeds. We're going to start the season off where we left it off last time with the 4-3-3 or 4-1-2-2-1, whatever you want to call it. I don't really know. Now, as you can tell, it's been a few days since I last actually played and loaded up this save, because I just said to you a few minutes ago McClement was going to be our first choice keeper this season, but obviously when I set the squad up last time I was on the game, I put Fairweather in goal. So we'll stick with what I did. We'll put Fairweather in goal, apparently, even though I said McClement was going to be our first choice, but we'll give Fairweather a debut today against Leeds. He should be pretty decent. The back line isn't changed too much. Fletcher's still there, Taverny's still there. Reeves comes in, of course, as our new centre-back, but Watts is still at right-back as well. perhaps we should have tried to, well, I have tried to strengthen our right back particularly, but no one really available for the right price and wants to join the club sort of thing. So we're sticking with Watson Prince this season. Donkert stays in that CDM position, but a new look centre midfield partnership of Brown and Frith is taking shape. Rendon and Langley retain their positions on the left and right side of the wings, but Pomeroy is going to be leading the line today until Lee Phillip is back from his injury, and then we'll either swap back to a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-1-2, something like that, I imagine, going forward. But of course, if we start the season well with this formation, we'll probably stick with it as well. Right then, kickoff is upon us here for the first day of the 2032-33 season, which is very exciting. I think we've got a cracking team this season. I think we've really got a good one. I think we can really push into the playoffs this season. I think this is going to be the breakthrough for us. Let me know in the comments down below which player you think looks the best that we've signed so far this season. My money is on Pomeroy. I think he's going to be the standout player this season if he plays very well with Lee Phillip, that is. And also let me know where you think we're going to finish this season. We did drop down to 9th last season. The season before that we finished 7th. But I think we should be there or thereabouts once again. I think we've got a bit of extra quality this season to actually finish inside the playoffs. So hopefully that happens, and hopefully we pick up 3 points today as Rendell gets tackled actually there, and Leeds have now got the ball at the back and they're going to try and build forward. There are a lot of pressure, unnecessarily so, put on their goalkeeper because they've left a lot of room on the left-hand side of the pitch for Leeds to attack. But Langley gets in there. Great challenge from our players there. We're coming forward once again. Brown on the ball. Ball up towards Pomeroy. He doesn't quite get there, and Leeds can once again clear their lines. Their ball forward is better because it gets to their striker who hits the crossbar. Reeves just about clears it and Langley can deal with the danger. But we're switching off a little bit on the first day of the season, and that's worrying. So not a massively eventful first half. I mean, I'll take a 0-0 draw with Leeds on the first day of the season because Leeds, another side that should be there or thereabouts. It's a big test on the first day of the season for us. But we've got a chance. The first chance of the second half is coming towards us as Watts can kind of put the ball in. Frith now gets it. He puts it in towards Jason Rendell, who gets the opening goal of the season for us. He's starting off where he finished last season, scoring goals. He puts it past the goalkeeper and puts us 1-0 up against Leeds, which is a massive result. Poor from Watts, to be fair, giving the ball away twice, really, but gets it to Frith in the end. He puts the cross in. Rendell, marked by 4 players, really, in the middle of them, gets his head on it, puts it in the back of the net. A superb cross as well to actually pick him out in the first place. And that is very nice indeed. If we can finish a game off 1-0 up, that would be superb. I'm going to make some changes, but obviously because we've not got Lee Masters in the squad anymore, we can only have 6 substitutes because one substitute has to be, or one player in the squad has to be homegrown from the club. And we don't have any of those players now. So we can only have 6 substitutes because of that. Now, I'm kind of want to give Turiak a go. He's sort of been in and out of the squad a little bit. But both Fletcher and Rendell are playing very well, so we're not going to bring him on for today's game. Sorinola, though, obviously playing at centre-back, I reckon he deserves a chance out there today. Theo Taverny not playing up to his full potential today, so Sorinola can come in at centre-back to have a little go out there. Other than that change, though, I don't really want to make any other changes. Obviously, we don't have masses of quality on the bench, I've got to say. A lot of the players we do have on the bench are defensively minded. We do actually probably need to bring in 1 or 2 more attacking players just to give some options to ourselves when we're attacking. Oh, I should probably say what is quite exciting. You may have seen it on Twitter, but over the summer holidays, so over pre-season stuff, we asked the board to upgrade youth facilities, and they said yes. So at the moment, training facilities and youth facilities are both being upgraded, which is very promising. That's very nice to see. We got £4 million in just standard appearance fees for being in the league, which is very good. As Pomeroy's been put forward, I can't quite get his first of the season. But we obviously got the £4 million for that, and then another £4 million nearly for the transfer of whatever he was called, Stan Porter. He went for that. So we had a lot of money coming in over summer, and obviously the board have seen that and said, okay, we will upgrade youth facilities as well. So both facilities being upgraded. They should be done in the next few months or so, which is exciting. And what is also exciting is, as we finish the game off here, we're just playing it around the back, basically, so we know we've won the game. There's no point risking things. We win the game against Leeds United 1-0, which is a great start to the season, especially against a really good Leeds side. I'm very pleased with that. great result. Always great to get 3 points in the first game of the season, which is fantastic. It puts us temporarily in ninth, but that's not really too much of an issue. Lincoln City, of course, are back in the Championship now, but they lost their first game to Norwich, as you can see there. But hopefully Lincoln will have a good season and sort of compete with us with the playoffs, because they did do that when they were in the Championship before. One of their seasons, they finished 7th, so I'd like to see them back up there and compete with us for playoffs. Now, it is a little bit of a jump, but I think we might actually jump all the way through August and go into September to play Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield United. Get the 2 Sheffield clubs in. That would be quite interesting, I think. It's quite nice playing them both at the same time. So I think that's what we'll go for next episode. We'll head over to Steel City and technically play the Steel City Derby, but we're just playing both the Sheffield teams with Lincoln. So thank you very much for watching today's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow for the next episode against Sheffield United and Sheffield Wednesday. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please do drop a like on the video for me and subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. And I'll see you next time for some more Lincoln Loco action.